Sebring is in the middle of nowhere. Years ago, on my first road trip to the track, I was driving through an orange tree plantation. Miles and miles of oranges. And all of a sudden, a Miami blue Porsche 911 passes me on my left. And a minute later, an R8 roars by me. I thought to myself, where am I? I'm still an hour from the track. There isn't a soul in sight. It's just me, the oranges, and a pair of dream cars. It was as if there was some sort of force drawing us closer and closer. Now the track is morphed from an old airfield. 17-turn road course consists of long straights, high-speed corners, and a few hand-over-hand hairpins. No camber, and flatter than a bad joke at a funeral. The surface is a curious collection of asphalt and concrete. Yes, the same concrete that World War II planes landed on. The transitions are rough and demanding on a car's suspension. There's a saying at Sebring, respect the bumps. A rusty chain link fence wrap around the track, and the walkovers are made with questionable wood and rickety 2x4s. Sebring is like the old family dog. Yeah, he doesn't play fetch. He sleeps a lot, and his tricks are long forgotten. But to you, there isn't another dog in this whole wide world you would rather have.
Bugatti circuit, Brands Hatch, all the way through to Yas Marino.
It's Sonoma,
One race,
bumps galore,
YMTV.
Is it clear now?
Oh, he's gonna make it work! Once again, now this is going down towards the double right hand.
Who's it going to be?
It's Smith Lazio! Okay, it's Ross Harmark. That's
Races Bowkett has the acceleration. What a race! What a race!
Hello and welcome along to week number 2 here of the ORL Z4 Cup. We're at Sebring Raceway, and this battle has only just gotten started. We saw some great racing out last week. Bowkett and South fighting it out all over the place on the Nürburgring. We'll have a look at that in just a second. For now, my name's Alie Tacq. I'm joined here by Aaron, Mellish. Dude, we've got Sebring this week. What do you reckon? The Z4s look great out here.
Yeah, man, they've got all that grip that they need into those. It's nice sweeping bends. So Sebring is complemented by those nice sweeping bends. Not so much when you get past the bends onto the curbs. They're not so pleasant. But like Flipmo just said, respect the curbs. Definitely, they will eat you up alive. But apart from that, it's great. And there's a lot of straights. So you know that all that straight line speed. There's not much, I don't think there's a top speed in this BMW Z4. It's all going to be about corner exit, and I can't wait to see what the guys bring to the table when it comes to Sebring. And obviously, of course, our favourite corner, Sunset Bend, final corner. It is a patio. It's like the Americans' version of crazy paving. You haven't quite gotten it right yet, but it does do a treat on the car. It does do a number on the car sometimes. The back end, it can just cause all sorts of mischief when it comes to running around that corner.
So Sebring, the track of the crazy paving, is round number 2 in this championship. Next time out, we'll be at Road America, so a very different circuit, despite being in the same country. Yeah, it's going to be all about avoiding those bumps, avoiding the curves, just keeping it on the black stuff around here. Going to have a qualifying session coming up on the hour. That's at 8 o'clock, half past the next hour. Race number 1 will start, and then we're going to have race 2 at 9 o'clock UK time. A reverse grid race as well, so definitely one to hang around for. There's always plenty of action there. In the meantime, though, we've got some great stuff to show you. We've got all sorts of cool content tonight. We'll kick it off with a little bit of a recap of last week's action at the Nürburgring, and that's brought to you by GTR Mergenator.
As the grid walk commenced in the first heat race of the 2018 racing season, spectators and drivers alike noticed one key change. Rain was now falling, and standing water could be found throughout the circuit. tricky conditions, drivers had to make sure to stay calm and collected through the opening complex of corners. Jacob Bowkett got a faultless launch from the line, claiming the whole shot into turn 1 and leading the field into the Mercedes arena for the first time. As the laps ticked by, the battle between GTR, FTR, and THR evolved, with drivers from each establishment trading places throughout the middle stages of the race. Further back, LRT, Lamb Chop, and FTR Bobby traded paint in a furious battle which saw side-by-side action through the Mercedes arena. Lamb Chop would ultimately get the best of the Full Throttle Racing driver before the end of the race. The closing laps showed no shortage of intensity or heartbreak. The hard-charging GTR, Caesar's Wrath, looked destined for a good result after starting from 15th on his GTR ABT Motorsport Z4, despite his hard work. Caesar's Wrath had to finish the race where he started because of damage sustained an unfortunate collision with the pit wall. The silver lining of this was he was guaranteed pole position in the next race after a reverse grid. Up front, Jacob Bowkett claimed victory over F4H South by 2.383 seconds after a clinical drive in the wet. Alright, race 2 was reverse grid. The sun once again shined above Nürburgring, Germany, as drivers prepared for the night's second major challenge, this time on reverse grid. Race 1 winner Jacob Bowkett would be starting from last place, with race 1 first lap holder F4H South starting just one grid spot ahead. As the flag dropped, the race appeared far more aggressive than its much wetter predecessor, which led to a hectic first corner, following some contact. On the contrary, F4H South used precision and a cool head to navigate the opening lap. The young British driver maneuvered his way from 14th to 3rd in just under 11 corners. The mid-pack fight from race 1 was reignited. This time, Caesar's Wrath, FTR Bobby, GTR Foxy, and others were nose to tail, hoping to capitalize on every mistake. Despite their status as teammates, a feisty fight between Caesar's Wrath and Foxy commenced, with the latter ultimately winning out as a result of a mistake. Up ahead, a recovering THR Ashton Ash was putting up a fight with FTR Bobby for the final podium spot. As the race came to a close, viewers were treated to a phenomenal sprint to the finish between Lamb Chop, Ferrari, Sparky, and more. Up ahead, there was a heated exchange between FTR and THR, with Lothario putting on a move on Ash for just 4th place just before the checker flag. Ultimately, F4H South was able to capitalize on his masterful opening lap to win by 3.4 seconds over Jacob Bowkett, who was undoubtedly pleased with his performance in the first round of his championship. It's hard to pick some standout stars from such an action-packed series of races, as the battling throughout the field was incredibly impressive. Both South and Bowkett performed as expected, each earning methodical victories which are clear to set the tone for the season. GTR Foxy HD also deserves some praise. Despite being in the thick of the battle throughout race 1 and 2, the GT Racing team driver was calculated and consistent, earning a 5th and 6th place finish. If this trend of consistency continues, Foxy is destined to be a contender before the end of the season.
So if you love that content, you want to get a little bit more of a taste of the action from last week, you can head over to ymtvnews.com, and over there you can get stuck in with the full article from F4H Force 1 and get all of the information. Just for now though, we can check out the championship standings after that race. And yeah, I mean, things at the top, Mellish, are a little bit surprising. I thought Bowkett was going to walk away with this, but surprise, sorry, not surprise, that's another guy altogether. F4H South has popped Bowkett just by the tiniest of margins. Are you at all surprised by that, given the results from last week?
No, not really. I mean, those between both of them, to be honest, they put on a stellar performance. And I have to say, so Bowkett, just all in all, I know he's a fast driver, but to go out there and win race 1 in the wet, I mean, like, you know, it was a testament to the drivers. It's very nerve-wracking. Obviously, you're hoping your tune pulls out, you're hoping all that practice you put in pre-race is going to pan out for you and pay you dividends, and it really did for Bowkett and for South. It just seemed that start at the beginning of race 2 was kind of like the game changer for me, for most of the drivers, because as you saw, it was an absolute collection. It was just a basket of beamers in the first corner, and it was really who got out alive, you know. And I think that South got that little bit of an edge away. But I don't think
I love the idea of a basket of beamers.
Yeah, it was a basket of beamers. It was, and I think it was even pace between South and Bowkett, especially in the dry. And I can't wait to see what they bring it today. But it's not only those two guys that are battling away. GTR, we said it last week, we'll say it again this week. GTR, FTR, and THR. 3 racing teams that are well established in the Forza racing community were going absolutely nail to nail, balls to the wall basically last week. And this is gonna be good because it's a very narrow track. Nürburgring GP, it kind of gives you room for forgiveness, room for error. Sebring doesn't. You've got endless amounts of grass, you've got curbs that'll kill you, and the track itself is very narrow. So I want to see how courageous these guys are going to be into some of these tight corners.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. They're going to have to push this car like crazy. You know, we've all driven the Z4 all over the place, and it's all about that absolute aggression under braking, rolling the speed through the apex, pushing through. It's a grip car, really, and this is a speed track in many ways. So you're going to have to drive it, I think, a little bit differently to how you might normally drive Sebring, you know, in a Forza lobby, where you've got the choice of any car, and you can hop into your speed car, square off the corners, accelerate out. It's a different philosophy here, right?
No, exactly. No, it's a very different philosophy. It's all, like I said it before, it's all about that corner exit speed. It's about being smooth through the corners. There's no, like, you don't need to, like, you know, make a double apex of a corner. There's just no need. It's just about keeping it tight, keeping it smooth, and getting that space out, because people will be using your draft, trying to get up the inside of you. It is going to be the case sometimes, and you just got to drive hard and fair. I mean, look at the championship standings then. There was like 3 guys there that were like 141 points. Like separating 3 teams, like 1 point separating three different drivers. It's fantastic. I mean, you could just see this track here. It's a very long, smooth track. But it's not easy. It isn't easy. I mean, the first corner, you can absolutely nail it, but you've got to keep it close to the top, to the wall on the inside, on the left-hand side. But it's not smooth, that wall. It kind of has edges. It was like made out of Duplo. It's not smooth.
Yeah, it's a 50.
And sometimes
it's like a 50 pence coin, the inside there, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
It juts out at you every now and again.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, it's like that game going into turn 2. It's like on the inside curb again. It's like whack-a-mole. It's something like a mole pops out on the curb. You don't see it, of course. It's an invisible mole, and he just sends your car up on 2 wheels. It's fantastic. Forza Physics really bringing you some of the best action. But I have to say, it is to get the fastest lap times, which we're going to see in a minute in qualification. This is the sector right now that you can see on the screens, which is really going to have to be nailed properly. The other parts, I know it's ironic to say, but it's actually probably the easiest part. The first part is the hardest. To get the run onto Big Bend, I didn't make it. I didn't make that name up. It's what the name is. It's Big Bend down to hairpin. Again, yes, I didn't make that one either. Like, those are the parts you're going to have to get right. It really is a case of that is going to be all those crucial tenths, hundredths, and even thousandths are going to come from. Because the rest of the track is kind of free-flowing. Because if you make it through the first sector, you think, oh, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. You know?
Yeah.
It's going to be different.
I agree. You can push, you know, all the way around this track pretty consistently. It's that first sector though, turn 1, where you can just get it sweet, get it right. You can find yourself half a second, and through the little complex of turns, the exit of that first sector. But giving us the insight here, giving us the inside driver's view, it's going to be EVR Quattro taking a very close look at Jacob Bowkett's hot lap in the Z4 around Sebring.
I'm EVR Quattro, and welcome back to the second round of the ORL BMW M Sport Championship. For this round, we take a trip over the Atlantic from round 1 at Nürburgring to the historic and prestigious Sebring circuit. So let's jump straight into the track guide. A very quick lap, I'm sure, on board with Jacob Bowkett. Past start-finish line we go, braking just before the end of the wall on the right-hand side before quickly turning into the first corner at a left-hander. After this, you run the car right out to the outside of the track before the short chute, through the right-hand kink at turn 2, down towards turn 3, 4 and 5. A combination of corners that all flows together once you get it right. You get it wrong and you're out of position for all 3 of them. From this point, as we see Jacob getting a lovely exit off of here, we have the not so straight, or called the Big Bend by the track owners, up through from 3rd, 4th, 5th and into 6th gear, before spotting a braking point just past the Noble 1 bridge, for by far the slowest corner on this track. Down into 2nd gear, getting a late apex and getting back on the throttle as early as you can, before accelerating away through the next sequence of very, very fast corners of turn 8 and turn 9, going back through from 2nd all the way through to 6th gear, before standing on the brakes again for turn 10. From this point you have to keep the car middle of the track through the right, before shooting through the left, again back up through the gears. From this point on, you need to keep the car as far to the left as you can and avoid the curb on entry and exit, as they'll both throw your car way offline. Now brace yourself for the fastest corners on this track by a very long way. Up through the gearbox into 6th gear before flying through these 2 left-hand kinks, before standing the brakes once more into turns 15 and 16 onto the longest straight on this Sebring track. Now it's just to put your right foot down and go as fast as the car will allow you. Fully pinned down this straight whilst the glorious BMW V8 carries you along. Now comes the task of spotting your braking point for the final corner at turn 17. Probably the hardest corner on this track. Getting as close to the wall on the inside as you can, before letting the car flow into the corner and it glides around beautifully, keeping it tight on the exit but running it right out to the outside wall. From here, keep your foot pinned, keep the steering straight, and over the line you go. Now this evening I suggest you keep an eye on turns 7 and 17 for the best overtaking, both of which being the heaviest braking zones on this track. For an outside bet though, maybe keep an eye on turns 13 through Tower. This corner opens up very well on entry for a late dive bomb into the apex, and once perfected can be very, very effective. Either way, I'm EVR Quattro, we're YMTV, and we hope you have a great evening's racing.
So the drivers are getting themselves suited and booted right now, all ready for the qualification session that's going to be coming up any second now. We're getting pretty excited now, actually. This track, it promises great racing. A lot of runs out of corners, a lot of sort of getting the acceleration down, getting that smooth run, getting the optimum speed there. And I think that's going to cause, well, be the call for a lot of overtaking.
No, exactly. I mean, like you said before, the Z4, it is a grip-orientated car, and this is a speed-orientated track. And I just saw on the schedule as well, like next week we're going to Road America, so it's going to be exactly the same story, really, in terms of car track performance. So I'm interested to see how this car develops here. We are receiving word. I don't know if it's rumours. It's down the grapevine that South isn't competing tonight. Now I do want to stress this. Is with ORL and with other racing leagues alike, it is normal, and they do expect you to miss races because of, you know, work time schedules, life circumstances. You can't help that. So they do cater and give you drop rounds, whether it be 1 drop round or 2 drop rounds. So if you do miss a race, if you're interested in joining this sort of racing and you do miss a race, don't worry. You know, if you compete in every race, you'll get your lowest points deducted. Yeah. So sometimes it's better off just to miss a race, And those people that were watching last week's stream and were thinking, God, I want to get involved in this, and got involved this week, you're still in contention for the championship, potentially. You know, because we missed a lot of people, and I know there's been a new sign-ups. I can't wait to see how they do. I can't wait to see new names.
Does TX3 Mellish, does he know anyone who's signed up for this competition?
Yes.
So who's coming along? Who's coming along to play?
Well, for sure, I know that TX3 Ridge, TX3 Switch, and TX3 Tactical are all taking part as well. We've got EMX Makito. I didn't see him last week, actually. Who else have we got? THR Knee as well. So we've got THR expanding bigger. It's getting bigger. Yeah. They were put on a fantastic performance, really did, Alie. And Knee is one of the fastest contenders. Was at the finals, the Falls RC finals last year, Le Mans. He's going to be one to watch as well. He is super fast when it comes to GT cars. Unfortunately, though, someone's taken his name, Alie. Someone's taken his name.
It's THR Knee number 70 now. Yeah, unfortunately, the guy who owns the gamertag NE having to resort to a 8-character gamertag. That's no good. But yeah, THR Team Highlands Racing, they're currently leading the team championship in this series after just 1 round. Ted had a little investigate into them, and we'll show you all about that after qualifying, so you guys can look forward to learning a bit more about the team. Yeah, but Nee joining a little bit later on, that's cool, because that really spices everything up. Nee is such a competitor. He was out not earlier this year because the year's so young, but just a few months ago at Bathurst doing the Forza 7 esports there. I think one of the only live events that's happened on Forza 7 so far, so he knows more about this game than most of us, and he's out here kicking it and enjoying some Forza 6 with the Z4.
Yeah, exactly, and those people that are getting really impatient in the Twitch chat saying get on with it. Look, man, we're just controlled by the people that are hosting it. You know, if they're not ready, we're not ready. Just want to point that out. You know, they're getting ready. They're getting ready.
if these guys, if they want racing, like, that means that, you know, we're doing a decent job, right? It means that, like, you know,
we're doing a decent job.
There's some appetite.
I would pat myself on the back if my arms were long enough.
Yeah, I mean, they're sitting outside the delicious racing bakery. and the smell of sweet, sweet overtaking bread is wafting out from the cookers, but it's just not quite ready yet. And so, you know, it's getting the stomach juices going, is all I'm saying.
Oh, it's all about those apple turnovers, mate, with the fresh cream.
There's nothing in the world like the smell of cooking croissants, like just plain butter croissants, mate.
Anyway, back to the racing. We have a flavour for culinary skills and culinary desires. You know, food is up there in one of the world's most top priorities. I don't mean starvation. I just mean the quality of food. It's good. It's good. I love it.
No, I agree. Here we go though. So just a few minutes remaining before the second race of the championship. I mean, it's been super early so far. Bowkett, you know, he surprised us all last time out by actually taking pole position from South. Before the championship started, I would have put any money at all on F4H South absolutely dominating. But yeah, Bowkett came out and did that incredible lap. I think 6/10 faster, I think, than South out there at the front. And although he managed to dominate race 1, couldn't, as Mergenator told us earlier on, bring it home in race number 2. So I mean, is there a question mark there about his racecraft? Is that what it's coming down to here? Is he not fast enough at overtaking other cars on a reverse grid race?
Maybe, but I don't think, when it comes to reverse grid, it doesn't matter how big your qualities are. It is very difficult. I mean, if you've got to manage through a pit stop, people use a pit strategy. They use a pit strategy to kind of leapfrog through the pits, and that kind of works. There are different ways of doing it, but when you're getting stuck into turn 1, there's no option, there's no alternative, and you really just have to fight your way through, and really fingers crossed as well to try and make it through the first lap. It is quite difficult because that was the whole point, but that's the whole point in the nature of the reverse grid, is the fact that you're going against people that were slower than you in the first race, and now you're going to have to make your way through, and it kind of provides that kind of entertainment that we all want. It kind of gives other people to score points, big points, even win races, but more to the point, it gives those people that won the first race that chance to be on the camera basically, and show their skill and display how they get around the people on the track as well.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's good, exciting racing. I can tell you that in the lobby here, everyone's readied up. We're all good to go. So any second now we'll be kicking off with qualifying. It's 5 short laps. I say short laps. Sebring's quite a long track, over 2 minutes in duration, especially in this spec of GT car. But it is just 5 attempts, and you can ruin a lap at Sebring very, very easily. Just sliding the rear out. It's actually quite hard to dirty a lap here. It's quite straightforward in many ways to get a clean lap around Sebring Raceway.
No, exactly. I mean, some of the tracks we'd be doing, if people watching the Dell Super Minis, at Prague reverse, it was very easy to dirty a lap through the chicane, and that could really affect you going into the next lap because there was no sector time between you dirtying and finishing the lap. With this one, the last sector time I think is on Le Mans Straight, and there is no way, unless you smash it into the wall, that you're going to dirty a lap through Sunset Bend. So it's very, you kind of have that peace of mind that if you do make a mistake, you've got full 4 laps to or 3 full laps to correct your mistakes, or iron out those issues you've got with your car. But like you said, it's 4 laps, 1 warm-up lap, 4 fast laps, and that's what ORL provides, is that tensity. The tension starts in qualifying. It doesn't start in the race, it starts in qualifying, because you have such a short amount of time to prove that you're ready for pole. And all that practice, it doesn't matter how much practice you've done, whether it be 5, 15 or 50 laps before, it comes down to 5 laps. And if you can't make it in those 5 laps, it'll change the result that you want on the grid.
Yeah, it will. It definitely will. Well, I mean, without further ado, I think the guys are heading into qualifying. Let's join them as they load into the race lobby. This is going to be a very, very tense qualification session, but also, perhaps an opportunity here for Bowkett, if the rumours are true. If South hasn't shown up for the second race of the championship, then it's a chance for him to really put his flag in the ground and say, this is mine, this competition is mine, I'm going to lead it now, and I'm going to walk away with this.
Yeah, I know we're focusing on Bowkett and South guys a lot just because they put out a stellar performance last time, but there were so many other drivers that competed last week at Nürburgring. They also did a fantastic performance, and they're going to have a chance now to really nail it. I reckon we're not going to... I don't think Bowkett is going to get that massive lead that he had. I just don't see it happening. Look, I just can't. Because I think that people... He set the benchmark as where people should be, and people aim for that. You know, that you don't have that that Chinese rumors of what you get and what tune you are using, and it's kind of like, you know what I mean. Everyone helps each other because, like, at the end of the day, you want to be battling for that first spot, and it all comes down to the driver at the end of the day.
FTR Furore there, repping a new paint for this second round, put together for him by LRT Lamb Chop. So a very, very beautiful paint there. Something really nice to head around the track in. Let's hop on board actually as we kick off with TX3 Ridge. It's going to be a little while before he gets going. He's still sitting there on the grid. But I want to see the TX3 guys as they set off, sort of put their first tentative steps into the Z4 Championship. And yeah, let's find out how confident they are. Ridge is an incredibly quick driver. I've spent too much of my life chasing his ghosts around tracks like Bathurst and Sebring. And so I think the car's in safe hands here. But what do you think? You think we can see a TX3 winner, for example, on the first race that they've entered in this championship?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give Commentators curse. I would like them to do well in the same way that I would like all drivers to do well. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll give them the win. But what I'm trying to say is I hope everyone has a fighting chance. Everyone has a fighting chance. If there's anybody, Ridge, Switch, very, very GT orientated, that's their kind of specialty field. So it'd be really nice to see them do well here as well. But they've got a lot of competition in this field. Has to be pointed out as well, this is not the only qualification going on right now. There are other lobbies simultaneously going on as well. So we may be saying a final farewell at the end of these 5 laps to some of these drivers. I very highly doubt it though, because we are seeing a lot of names that we saw in Lobby A last week, but there has been more sign-ups. So who's going to make the cut, who's going to be in the bubble, and who's going to be in Lobby B? We'll find out after these 5 laps.
Absolutely right. Let's get back there with FTR Furore. I want to check out that paint. It's absolutely beautiful. Put together by Lamb Chop. I love the gold colours. Big red, white and blue one as well. I think it's kind of a British accent, I guess, in general, given the side plates and the rear wing there. But are definitely very appropriate here at Sebring International, one of America's great road courses. Here we are at that back section of the track, Manish, that twisty right-hander. You can see the curb there. You don't want to touch too much of it. Is there a way through in the Z4s using traction control where you can jump on those curbs, or are you really forced to be on the road all the time?
No, you're really forced not to take that. It is a gamble. It's not a gamble I would rather take. I would just keep it on the tarmac and, you know, and not run the chance of maybe gaining 2/10 or losing a whole second. You know, because once the traction kicks in unnaturally, it will bog your car down, and that's really game over for that lap. So just take it nice and smooth. I think the best bet is just to stay away from the curves. Get as close as you can. Look at that from Ridge. That is what I'm talking about there, that 50 pence piece kind of look into the first corner. It catches you out. It does catch you out. And he's already on the back of Warwick. And I have to say, guys, you do get a stagger start in these qualification rounds. Oh, that's sawn up off the track up ahead.
Is that what that was? It looked like Ridge
just
touched the inside curb there with his rear tyre. It was the kind of moment where if you're not the driver, if you're not feeling the balance of the car, then almost you'd be like, oh, why is he slowing down? But I think if he had done anything other than completely backed off right then, the car would have been round in circles. It just hops the rear on the inside curb there before the big bend, the run on towards the first hairpin here. So Ridge getting it wrong a little bit on his first hot lap around here. Let's hop back though to THR Knee, THR Knee 70, I guess as he's now known, who's abreast here with GTR Tiski, but just pushing through on his first hot lap in that silver THR Z4 contender.
Yeah, fantastic livery, and I love the way that everyone puts their heart and soul into liveries, and they get really disappointed because not everyone has that artistic, you know, brush skill. You know, they don't have that creativity, but they still want to represent really well, and it's nice for them to get artists or Forza painters in the community to get them to meet their paints. And I'm pretty sure we have a few new paints in here. I think Furore, like you said earlier on, I think it was made by Lamb Chop. who is like the artist, the designer of LRT. So it's nice to see different paints as well, and it's nice to represent. It really is. There's nothing like showing colours, like representing colours.
Tell you what, Mellish, when Lee was exiting Sunset there, and right up to the wall, there was a butt clench from me. Just a little bit of butt clench when he got near those tyres, because he didn't back off at all, an inch away from them. That's the kind of lap that gets you, well, front row of the grid. But Jacob Bowkett, unstoppable here in the Z4s, straight up ahead of him.
Oh, sorry.
And what does that yes mean, Mellish? I don't notice anything.
Oh, no, I was just saying yes because Warwick's just got 4th place there. He's really close to me with a 9.4.3.
Let's hop on board with Warwick then and check him out, because that must have been a star lap from him. I mean, TX3, I should say, not yet representing in their first hot lap, not doing a great job yet. Maybe they'll do better later in the qualifying session.
No, it's they've got 3 more laps to do it. You know, they're coming around to do 2.5 laps left to go, and they've really got to nail those corners. It is a demanding track, and it is when you get it's not, how can I put it? Sebring's one of those tracks where you kind of the hardest part's over first, but then it's so easy to make a simple mistake on the rest of the track. It's like cautious but quick. You know, you've got to be smooth as well, and if you, like you said, like we saw Ridge going into his first hot lap, catches the curve, it's game over before you've even started. So you've got to make sure that is it worth just scrubbing off a couple of tenths and not and missing an apex, rather than trying to risk going over and curb and losing a hell of a lot more. It's nice to see though that between first and third at the moment, a whole 6 tenths at the moment. That could change. It always changes. Everyone gets faster, the confidence grows, but is there enough time for that confidence to grow?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, that's always the sort of balancing point with qualifying, isn't it? You don't want to get towards the end of the session and be like, you know what, now I'm relaxed enough to run that really hot lap that I know I've got in me. You've got to have that in you from the very start. The guys crossing the line here for the 2nd time, putting in their next lap time. Bowkett gets himself onto pole position, popping TX3 switch there with that cracking first lap from him. We're on board with Warwick. What can he do on his 2nd attempt? Comes across the line and it's no improvement. So staying, well, back down to 5th position. He's going to maintain that just for now. Behind him, Foxy HD is still looking for a way through. Let's hop back there though a little bit with FTR Bobby and see how he's getting on. We don't see a huge amount of Bobby. He's still in that black paint, that sort of the test car, the test mule paint. But running 11th right now on a 2:05.8. That's some 2 seconds shy of the pole position time. I mean, 2 seconds around Sebring, is that a lot, or is that something which can kind of accumulate over the track? How does it work?
In terms of motorsport, I think 2 seconds on any track is a huge amount of time. You know, that's a big amount of time, and he's going to have to really improve. But I have to say, for Bobby, I don't think he's not so much of a hot lap specialist. He's definitely a racing driver. We saw last time out, race 2 at the Nürburgring GP, he really brought his A game, and for a while he was battling for a podium. He actually finished in podium, he finished 3rd. So regardless of where he does in qualifying, he's got that quality streak in him, and he can get those podiums and get those big point scoring, because that's, at the end of the day, if he consistently gets podiums, it may not get race wins, but if he consistently gets podiums, he's in for a shot at the title, most definitely.
I agree with you. You know, he did an outstanding job last time out, battling himself, you know, in that mid-pack. It's all about having the pace to be able to pick up on other people's mistakes or their battles. That's what I'm finding. You know, we've been doing a bit of racing recently, Mellish, and you have to be within 5 tenths or so of the lead in order to be able to kind of catch up to them when they start fighting, when they start jostling with each other. So there is a kind of sweet spot there. You can afford to be a little bit behind their 1 lap pace. But as long as you're a good racer, you can do it. Let's head forward. I think for this last hot lap, let's get on board with the man of the moment, Jacob Bowkett. We haven't seen him all session, and he is flying. 2:03.913. That's actually 1/100th of a second ahead of Switch, but still, it's enough for pole position. And let's see if we can just get on board with him and have a little taste of what that kind of speed feels like.
Yeah, exactly. Just want to bring you actually a rundown of what's going on so far. So like I said, Bowkett's in pole at the moment. Not for certain though, we don't know what's happening in the other lobby. There are other good races, other absolute contenders in the other qualification lobby to see how they get on. We've got Switch in second, Ridge third, Knee in fourth, Bobby fifth, Lamb Chop in sixth, who's doing a lot better than the last time. I felt like he was caught out last time. He was caught short, didn't have a lot of time to repair. This time, you know, he's rolled up his sleeves, pulled his socks up, and he's got himself in a sixth place, a temporary sixth place. Let's see where he finishes up. Warwick in seventh, Foxy in eighth, Gabor in ninth, and Flex rounds out the top 10. So I can't wait to see how Flex does as well. But between first and 10th, there is a whole 1.5 seconds available.
Unbelievable. So a large margin there. It's a long track here, though, longer than the Nürburgring that we were at last time, with a over a 2-minute lap here. The amazing thing about Bowkett, listen to him through the corners there. There's almost no chatter from the front tyres at all through the corner. The car is tuned to perfection, of course, but he's also driving it just so smooth. It's what a car like this needs. I saw 2/10 up on his split time earlier on the lap. Maybe we can just get that up one more time before the lap ends. Bowkett up by 0.04 of a second. Switch is going to need to find time in the last sector. There is kind of a black magic time here in this last corner. Who knows whether that can work out for Switch. For now, though, Bowkett, I think, is going to come across the line without having improved. That's how it's going to be for Bowkett. Switch crosses the line as well. So Switch not managing it. There is another lobby here, though, Mellish. So we're not down to one qualifying lobby as we were last time. There's other opportunities for drivers to be out there setting their hot laps, setting their times, and we'll have to see how the grid works out once those two lobbies worth of qualifying times are meshed together, and we'll see who the fastest is.
No, exactly. You know, fantastic job from Knee there, but it has to be said, truth be told, it's not such a big gap that we saw last time at Nürburgring GP, that big 6/10 that he had on South into the first race. This is very close. Now these guys, like I said before, it's very level, you know, level playing field. You know, these guys are separated by, what was it, a 10th? And then Ridge was there by, I think, 8/10. It is so close. And this is where the racing becomes intense, because they're running the same lap times. It's going to come down to opportunities, you know, being aggressive, but being fair, being hard in your racing, and being clean as well. You know, you can't be using people. We don't see this in ORL at all, but, you know, you can't be using people as walls. We definitely don't get that. But, you know, the level of racing in Forza Community Leagues is outstanding, and I think, you know, there is a bit of rubbing. But Robin's racing, like Robin is racing, paint, trading paint as well. It's all part and process really. It's kind of like initiation to, you know, you can't win a race without doing it really. Especially on this track as well. I think we're going to be watching some spectacular dive bombs into the airpin. I can't wait for that as well, because it always ends up in disaster. I don't think I've ever seen you know, a well-orchestrated dive bomb in the airpin.
That's what you mean. When you get two stubborn heads and one of them puts a dive bomb on the other, it's always going to end in tears 100% of the time. A team who don't do a lot of dive bombing, a team who have a lot of respect out there on the track, are Team Highlands Racing, THR. Not a great showing from them there in qualifying, although we'll have to wait and see how that all works out. They are, though, the championship leaders here coming out of the first round, and GTR Ted took a look at, yeah, I mean, who's in the team and who they are.
Team Highlands Racing might have their roots in New Zealand, in V8 supercars in the Oceanic region, but with an international 2018 roster featuring numerous Forza RC finalists, this is a global force. 5 team members will contest the ORL Z4 M Sport Cup, THR's first chance to continue their momentum after taking the team championship at the CJ Wilson 570 Challenge. First up, the Aussie, THR Flex, Flexible Felix to his friends. After joining the team last summer, Flex has been the rock-solid core of some of THR's most potent lineups. Alongside Flex in the team's Privateer Black is the American Wildwind 7, one of the OG crew. Wildwind has long represented THR at the prestigious ORL Touring Car Championship. Jumping up to Z4 GTLMs will be no hassle for the versatile driver. The only Englishman in their Z4 lineup, Aston Ash, will form 1/3 of Team Highland's championship team with Troy Parson and Sparky DS. Don't be fooled by this youngster, however. He may have only recently passed his driving test, but he's been tearing up the track for years. After joining the team just days ago, Troy Parson is THR's newest member. It would be brilliant to see what the American can do with the help and support of a dedicated racing team. Completing the lineup is Sparky DS, whose podium finish at last week's inaugural Z4 Cup round saw THR shoot up the standings to lead the team championship coming into this week's event at Sebring Raceway. Five world-class drivers all working together to bring another championship home to the Team Highlands Racing stable. It's early in the season, but 2018 looks to be an impressive year for the Flying Kiwis.
So Ted there, talking all about THR, Mellish. I mean, they're a team who, over the last 6 months, have kind of, in the background, been building up their roster, looking stronger and stronger. A lot like the team you're in, TX3. I mean, a lot of new people coming in there. I think 5 now Forza RC finalist qualifiers in the THR team. I mean, what do you reckon 2018 holds for that team?
Oh, you know, such a promising future, especially into 2018. Not only were they Forza RC finalist qualifiers, but they also, some of the guys there as well in THR, maybe not in this, not in the people competing today, but they were in the world's fastest gamer. They put a terrific performance in the world's fastest gamer qualifiers as well. You know, coming up against Car Lightning and Car Harmonic and Paul 9339, it was very difficult for those guys, but they put on a really good show and they beat some of the top teams like Prod. And they were going at it. They were really going at it. They have come up, and I don't want to say through the shadows because they've always been there. They've always been out there, and they've always stood out as one of the top teams. But they've really come into the limelight very, very recently, and they've recruited some top people. Nee has been a great addition as well. And it's not only about just recruiting top players, but it's actually about building top players as well. You know, I think there's a lot of people. There's some people in every team that kind of just need, like it's like a work in progress, and suddenly they'll just blossom. But like the ugly duckling story, they'll be like maybe 2/10 off the pace of the fastest people, and then they'll just suddenly click and they'll get it, and then they'll be just as competitive. But I think that's a story for every team, really.
I agree, Mesh. I think you're absolutely right. It takes that time to develop the drivers, and then once the drivers are there, once everything's in place, suddenly the speed starts to click and you start to see them out there winning, getting results, winning championships as a team and privately as drivers. Somebody who has so far resisted the allure of joining a team on Forza is Jacob Bowkett. He's sat nicely on pole position for today's race. I've got the live timing up right there. It's going to be Bowkett on pole with Switch in second, third TX3 Ridge, and then FTR ads. I'm just going to call them ads. That's what everyone calls them in fourth position. So how do you like that manage? TX3, excuse me, second and third there on the grid.
Oh, that's a good position, man. That is a fantastic position. This is their first time racing in the ORL BMW Z4s, and I have to say, I feel for me it was a bit of a transition becoming back from Forza 7 to Forza 6, especially on this track, because when you race this track on Forza 7, some of those curves are just so beautiful to drive over, and you can really get nice lines. With this, you kind of feel like you're cooped up. It feels like invisible walls there, and you really don't see them, and then suddenly you hit them, and then all those bad memories of Sebring come flooding back, and you got to deal with that emotional stress. And I'm really happy. I'm really happy that they're in there. I can't see Tactical. Where is Tactical? Where's Tactical? It's not there.
Where is Tactical? Have I done this too early? Have I jumped the gun?
I'm just assuming Tactical's got in there. He said he was racing.
I'm assuming Tactical's running this week. Let me just go check the running order here. Maybe I've jumped the gun, and there should be Tactical there in 5th position. It's just a little bit tricky to read, I think, this week. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. Yeah, I need to update it. Hold on. So yeah, I jumped to the gun a little bit there. So those aren't quite the qualifying times. They're almost
Give me those heart
qualifying times. Give me some heart palpitations.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a pretty good result. Bowkett out there in front as well, showing that, you know, it's not going to be a matter of TX3 rocking up and saying, you know, all right, we're running this show now. We're going to go off and run away with this championship. Bowkett, winner of round number 1 here on the ORL Z4s, has still got it, and it's still possible for him. There you go. I think the stream just refreshing there, and hopefully you can see Tactical sitting in 5th position, despite the background being a little bit light to read.
No, exactly, and I had to say, guys, as well, what's really stood out for me this week is the fact that last week I think we had like a full one, or we had a whole one lobby, right? Whole one lobby, which is great, all the action's there, but now I think we've got 2 lobbies. You know, so it's steadily growing, and for those guys who are not sure or unfamiliar with ORL, they used to have like 7 or 8 lobbies going at once. It was crazy. The amount of people that would sign up for like the Corvette C7 R Cup, the Scirocco R Cup, all the leagues that they've done in the past on Forza 6 and transferring now onto Forza 7, it kind of feels like a fresh start. But we're back on Forza 6, and it kind of feels like people are not going back. I don't expect them to come back, but you're missing out on some fantastic racing. And if you do want to get involved, please go to onlineracingleague.proballs.com. Get yourself signed up, get yourself a number, because if you like the look of this and you're thinking, I'm not that fast, I'm not fast enough, it's the same excuses. I'm just not fast enough, I'd always be at the back. You know, you're always going to be at the back unless you try and practice. You know, that's the way it is. You've got to actually put the effort in. It doesn't just get there. Well, for some people it does, which is really irritating, but for the most of us it doesn't. And you do have to practice.
Yeah, I mean, but Mellish, for me, because you know I'm special. Can I just not go quickly without practicing? I'd like that for me. I know that for other people that's the rule, and they have to practice to be fast. But I was thinking with Daytona 24 happening this weekend, I might just make it so that I'm really fast without practicing. Is that all right?
Yeah, I suppose you know. No, it doesn't work like that. You know it doesn't work like that, especially for you yachts. You do need a bit of practice. You do need a bit of practice. Now,
yes, I do.
But that's the case of most people. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Some people have to put in more practice than others. You know, if you have a passion for trying hard, it shouldn't be knocked. It shouldn't be you know, drawn to that. It shouldn't be laughed at. It's that you have to put in a little bit of practice so you can be just as competitive as everyone else. And you know, I have a whole respect for that. Whoever that is, whoever has to put that extra bit of time in as well, or whoever doesn't have to. You know, as long as there's no backstabbing. You know, it's just it's getting to a point where the times don't matter. It's all about in the moment, seizing an opportunity, because that's what makes good racing. It's those split-second decisions that, as a driver, you can make and you can pull off. Granted, if you don't pull them off, you look like a bit of an idiot. But if you do pull them off, it's fantastic to watch. It really does, and that's why we have highlight reels. Highlight reels, man. People watch this.
Agreed. I want to throw up. I'm going to throw up here the track map one more time, so you guys can take a look at it. We've got a highlight on there on Sector 2. There's 5 sectors here around Sebring. Far too many sectors for any track. Usually you just have 3, but it's Sector 2 and Sector 3 here. I'm sort of bouncing between being highlighted. Well, I think we're going to see the majority of the overtaking. There's 2 hairpins in this sector, the first of which is very, very heavy braking indeed. And I mean, surely, Mesh, that's the best overtaking opportunity around this track.
For me, yes, I have to agree with you. In the sector that's highlighted right now, I think it's Fangio. That's the perfect there. Out of the hairpin. You've got to it's all about being smooth. You know, it's very difficult when you've got someone diving up your inside. You might have to take it a little bit tight and scrub off some speed, but if you get that opportunity and you're hunting someone down, smooth all the way to the left, get it in nice second gear and just coast round, and when your wheels are in line, blast out. And that's what that traction control is there for. You get that extra little grip without sliding out through Fangio into Collington, and it is perfect. And that is a perfect dive bomb opportunity right there. Have to say again, on the other part of the track, on the polar opposite side of the track, coming down towards Le Mans Straight, just before Sunset Bend. Sunset Bend is always going to be a joker piece. It's always going to be a joker piece, and you can never really script what goes on right there. But that will be overtaking possibilities galore, I'm sure. But Le Mans Straight, getting the run onto there is absolutely key. using the draft as well. You know, don't waste that time by just moving to the inside and hoping that you might make that braking distance up. Get on the draft, close them down, and then try and slipstream past them if you can. But there's always room for error in Sunset Bend. I think me and Ali, we both agree on that.
Yeah, we have to agree. It's if you haven't raced it, if you haven't been around there, the last turn, Sunset at Sebring, is it's a classic of motorsport. It's a turn which you know, we possess the technology in modern times to pave things beautifully smoothly. You know, if you go to a new motorway, it's lovely. You know, you feel that just change in pavement, and it's just so smooth. It's like velvet suddenly that you're driving across. It's not out of choice. It's not because they have no choice, I should say, that Sunset is covered in cobblestones. It's because it's a classic of motorsport. It's an absolute legendary corner. It has huge cracks in the concrete there. It has wobbles and changes of frequency everywhere. I mean, you know, it kills the suspension of cars. Endurance races they run here around Sebring, and yeah, there's nothing quite like it. You just have to hang the car in there and just kind of cross your fingers and hope that the rear of the car doesn't pop out mid-corner as you go over some bump or divot or sleeping policeman on the road.
No, you're absolutely right. I just want to turn our attention towards the fact that I didn't say this earlier on because we were going through qualification, but THR Tatey, massive thank you. The head of the THR, we were talking about Team Highland Racing Team earlier on, just subscribed to us to $4.99 for 7 months. 7 months. That's quite a commitment. That is quite a commitment. Just want to say a massive thank you. I know. Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever made a commitment that long in my whole life.
I know.
6 months with the electricity company, maybe.
Yeah, so I just want to say a massive thank you to, you know, if you subscribe to us through PayPal or anything like that, it comes up on the stream. THR again, actually, THR Rhino, I think it was, subscribed to us as well. $26, a huge amount. All the money that we get does go back into the streams or prizes or something towards you guys. Doesn't go anywhere else. I just want to make that absolutely clear.
Yeah.
So, but thank you very much.
No, absolutely right. And I mean, you know, someone else, you know, we should talk about tonight is, of course, the online racing league. That's the people whose races we're broadcasting this evening. If you want to get involved with the racing they put on, you head on over to onlineracingleague.proboards.com. You can see the website name there just on the bottom of the screen. It's a great place to do racing. I mean, the competition is very fierce here. You see many of the top drivers on Forza Motorsport battling it out. That's what makes it broadcast worthy as well. You know, the people out here are able to throw tough moves on each other. They're able to run lap times within the hundreds, not within even the tenths, close to each other. I mean, we saw qualifying just now, 100th of a second splitting the front row of the grid. And so this is the real sort of pinnacle of Forza racing. So do head on over there and get involved. There's racing for all sorts, of course. You can head on in without being at that skill level already, but you can be guaranteed that it'll make you a very much faster driver in no time at all. We of course are YMTV, and yeah, we're sort of a racing channel, right? I guess that's what we are.
Yeah. And I just want to go back to you talking about ORL being the best racing. We do understand that, you know, it doesn't cater for every perfect time zone, and there are going to be people out there that are waking up at the crack of dawn. I know that Nee is, you know, Australia, and he's, you know, complete different time zone, and he's going to have his way to make this race here. But if you can't do that, you know, and it's not available for everybody to do that or want to do that, there is we do have ymtvnews.com, and you can go search over there, and there are different leagues or different community league organizers, I should say, with loads of different types of leagues, you know, fitting different types of different time zones as well. So please go check that out, because if you want to get part of racing and you're up at, I don't know, maybe you've woke up from a deep sleep and you can't get back to sleep, and you think, oh, I know what I'll do, I'll go watch YMTV racing, which is highly unlikely. But if you did and you think, well, I can't get involved in this racing, there is always something for you. Maybe not this, but there is always something for you, and it will be on the ymtvnews.com website.
I tell you, I'll tell you what's for you. I mean, you know, welcome into my cafe, Yachts' Racing Cafe, and I'm leaning over the bar, and you're coming in bedraggled from a day's driving, I'm going to tell you, I know what drink you want to order. I know what you want right now, and that is, of course, the racing trucks that are going to be put on by Delta Online Racing. God. Head on over to deltaonlineracing.freeforums.com and you can register for a 3-round special of truck racing. That's right, in the Mercedes truck. I'll be out there. You know I'll be out there. I'm going to get a crazy paint for my truck. I might even make it myself. And I'm just going to drag that thing around the place, throw moves on people in a articulated lorry with a front wing.
And until that point, guys, we do have talking about endurance races, we do have the 24 Hours of Daytona coming up. That's this Saturday, and that is with the Online Racing Association.
A little bit more serious.
That'll be starting 3 p.m. GMT time, and you can tune in because we're going to try and attempt to stream the whole thing 24 hours, different people, different stints, different teams, and that's going to be fantastic. You're going to see like a whole. It's going to be, you're going to see different participations. So if you want to come down and watch us for maybe a 2-hour session or one stint or something, that is available to you. That will be going between 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon all the way through to 3 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. And then 5 hours after that, we have the Delta Super Minis Grand Final. That is at Sonoma. Everything's to play for. And I mean, literally everything is to play for. There's some big battles up and down the pack, so please do not miss that. And that is at Sunday, 8 p.m. That is the final of the Delta Super Minis. We did a fantastic job, I have to say. I'm not a big front-wheel drive fan, right? But that is some of the best hot hatch racing I've ever done. Like,
so much fun.
Like, I just don't, it's so much fun.
It's great racing as well in hot hatches because, you know, I mean, I think we got one tune for the whole championship, more or less. I mean, we've basically got a tune on the first race. We haven't really changed it all the way through. We're more or less competitive, you know, from the start to the finish. And so it's not the kind of championship where you have to really like crazy sweat over it. You know, if you want to beat Mitch 555, then yeah, get your sweat on, start working. But at the same time, you can be up there, you can be racing with not too much of a time investment. So yeah, it's a lot of fun doing that kind of thing in front-wheel drive cars. Of course, though, we're here today for rear-wheel drive action. That's the Z4, the GTLM, little grippy speed machine, and it's round Sebring, a very, very fast track. I love challenges like this. I love it when I'm racing in a championship or watching one. When you get a grip car at a speed track or a speed car at a grip track, you know, it's when you have like a Bentley and you have to race it around Sonoma, but everyone's in the same boat, and so there's no advantage or disadvantage.
Say there's no disadvantage, mate, but have you ever tried driving a Bentley around Sonoma?
I don't know if I have. I pulled it off the top of my head, but it doesn't matter because
I know you did.
I know,
this is the mind of a man who has not driven a Bentley around Sonoma. No, I'm joking. If it's the Bentley GT Continental GT3 car, then I would say that's okay. But anything apart from that, no,
yeah.
Well, I wouldn't touch Bentley.
Don't do
really.
it. Don't do it. Why do it to yourself? Why do you enjoy pain? Is that what you like? Here we go.
Exactly.
Loading
it's just self-inflicting.
Into the race, and I'm looking forward to seeing that grid, Mellish. You know, race 1 here at the Z4 Cup, round 2 at Sebring International, and I mean, Jacob Bowkett just doing it again. I just want to see him on the front of the grid. I like seeing him there.
Yeah, I know. I think it's great. You know, it's pioneering, really. You know, a privateer. There he is, Jacob Bowkett, off pole position. But not too far behind him is the Green Armada. It's TX3 Switch going in second place. Third place will be TX3 Ridge. And rounding out the top 2 rows, it will be FTR Adzaz. That's a great job from FTR. TX3 Tactical in 5th place. And who's that? THR Knee will be joining him on the 3rd row of the grid.
Yeah, it's another THR. It's not another THR. It's FTR. Lothario is behind. He used to be called Slothatron, so you know him really, even if you don't think you do. Eric Pipes, followed by Sparky DS, will be right behind him. With THR Aston Ash, the young guy there that Ted introduced to us earlier on in the stream. Furore, he had a different name before as well, didn't he, Mellish? You remind me of who Furore used to be.
Kastner.
Gotcha. That's it. That's it. Lamb chop towards the rear of the grid. Elise is in lobby A, and he'll be kicking off any second. I love the starting camera here as it rolls across the grid, and they are away. Bowkett looks to have got a smooth start, but we're on board with Aston Ash, back in 10th position, who's heading down the outside into turn 1. It's a long way around here as the cars in front siphon towards the inside of the track, and Ash will make up 2 positions, it looks like, through that first corner. But up ahead, it's definitely all on in that battle for the lead as Bowkett falls down into 3rd position.
Yeah, the Eric Pipes and Lothario were going at it, going into the first corner there. And Aston really was able to capitalise, but a little bit of a collision there. He's lost him that place to Lothario again. He's in 9th place, just in front of his teammate Sparky DS. He's got a lot of work to do, but Ridge at the moment is leading this race. It's a debut win. It could be a debut win for him, and again, I think that switch is just behind him. So Bowkett reduced down to 3rd place at the moment, and as we just saw there, Sparky just catching the rear bumper of his teammate Ashton. Ashton being able to get away, very lucky there.
I'll tell you what, Bowkett's looking at these green cars around him and going, get away from me, you bullies. The green cloud of TX3 cars pushing him around, shoving him about the track. He's all the way back down to 5th now, the pole position sitter, with Ads sneaking by and up his inside. THR Knee wants a piece as well. It's a disaster here for Bowkett at the start of the first race, who's still fighting off positions coming by. Eric Pipes looking up there. I wonder if Bowkett has engine damage. Let's just throw up that telemetry because he is losing positions left, right and centre. No damage, but another little aggressive nudge. And Bowkett's off the road one more time. He must be furious.
Absolutely furious. Started pole position down to 7th, and it is still going down. Lothario with an absolutely immaculate run out to Le Mans straight here. Lothario's going to get himself down the inside, going down into Sunset Bend. Meanwhile, Ridge out in front, switch, tactical. Then we've got Knee in 5th place. Eric Pipes doing a fantastic job to make up the pack as well. And you can just see, oh, that is a big slide there from Lothario. Heavy under brakes, locks up the brakes there, tries to make the dive bomb, doesn't work out. Jacob Bowkett survives another day. And he has time now to really hammer down and close that distance on Eric Pipes. Needs to get in that draft, but he definitely, Ali, will be furious.
Let's head on up to the front of the pack because it is a very different scene here at Sebring than it was at Nürburgring just a week ago. The front is all green, top 3 cars from TX3, Ridge, followed by Switch, followed by Tactical. They've had the dream start. It's FTR Ads trying to spoil their fun. Tell you what, Ads still sitting there in FTR, the team that Switch and Ridge used to belong to. Is he going to be a, you know, is he going to be enjoying this a little bit more, that he's hunting down these guys who used to be in his team?
Yeah, it's kind of like that old rivalries reborn situation, you know. They were part of your team, and you were friendly with them, and you got along with them. Now they're not part of the team, and you really just want to beat them. It's kind of that. It's kind of that primitive feeling you get. You see them, you think, oh, now it's time to, you know, maybe pay off some old debts. Let me take the win. But they've got to get through Tactical. Tactical's going to be holding on as well. I just have to say though, looking at how Switch is driving, it looks like he's using no traction control. He's very smooth, and he's just getting the back end to slip out just a little bit. It may be the tune, but I don't think it is. I think it's so that he can run over those rumble strips that we pointed out earlier, and it gives him that little extra pull off the line, but he's got to be smooth, and that when that comes down to defending, it's very difficult to defend with no traction.
Let's hop all the way back down to 12th position, an LRT Lamb Chop, one of the prettiest cars out there, but one that's been in some grief, I think, in this race is Aston Ash. Just takes a little bit of a tip over the curbs there, his car getting very out of shape indeed. See if we can look backwards and see how that gap is looking. Ash in all sorts of pressure here from FTR Bobby, running in 13th position.
Yeah, Eric Pipes all the way down, 700 feet at the very bottom there, 14th place. That's not going to help him any. He needs to try and gain that gap back, but at the moment, Bobby looking great. Nailed Sunset Bend there, got the grip on the outside. Kind of run a little bit too wide, had to let off the gas, otherwise it would have hit the tyre wall. Very careful, very, very careful. You don't want to ruin your race. Lap 3 of 10, they've got plenty of time to do this. Plenty of time to orchestrate this kind of overtaking opportunity, and you can just see how much speed they're taking through turn 1 there, sorry. All 3 of them like clipping the grass at least, and he's trying to go around the outside there. Not really an overtaking possibility for Bobby. He'll have to think again.
Certainly will, he certainly will. Let's keep monitoring this battle. It looks like a tough one. Bobby sniffing about there to find his way past Aston Ash. Just ride along board with him just for a moment or two. See if we can spot the overtaking move as it comes along. But the guys are spacing out a little bit here, Melish. It's that kind of a track in many ways that you'll see a little bit of a gap appear from time to time, but when the mistakes come, they come big, and you can sneak by despite having maybe 5 car lengths between one car and another.
Yeah, exactly. You talking about space in the part, you should get on board with Aston Ash, because that space is decreasing. He is nailing at the back of Lamb Chop there. Just missed out of Angio there through Collington. Missed that completely. Lamb Chop gets 50 feet or so improvement in his distance. Aston Ash has got to work that time again, but he's really fast here. This is a section where he really starts to hammer it down. Up towards Le Mans, he's got this sorted. See Lamb Chop using the whole track there. Aston Ash very tight. Doesn't need to use all the track, and that will save him pace. It will save him distance, which ultimately will save him time.
I tell you what, let's hop forward to THR Knee, running in 6th position. Up ahead of him, Bowkett, who's going to be racing as though he's Liam Neeson today, has got a vendetta against just about everybody on this track. Bullied like crazy in the first portion of the race, and now pushing his way back through. Furore up there. Is that? Am I seeing what? Those ads? Excuse me. I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing. Up into 2nd position, so past 2 of the TX3 runners, and absolutely spoiling the podium party that those virtual drivers were planning after this first race.
Exactly, but Switch isn't going anywhere. He is glued to that bumper of Adsas, and Tactical's there as well, so he'll make any overtaking possibility, any mistake from his teammate, and he's going for the undercut. Beautiful. Oh, he just didn't quite do it. Switch using all the grass there. That was perfect. I'm almost certain he's not using traction control. And he's kind of losing pace here. Bowkett is on the charge at the moment. Back up to 5th place. He was in 7th. He went down to 7th in the first lap. Lap 4, he's back up to 5th and still gaining places. Now he's got a lot of work to do, but can he do it?
This is the place we want to be on board with right now. Jacob Bowkett, who is you can just feel the emotion in his driving right now. Super late on the brakes there. He doesn't mind if those TX3 cars close up a little bit. He's not going to panic too much. There's a little bit of a rub on the bumper, I don't think. He knows all about how he's going to have to race this, and that is super aggressive. Tactical up there, just following Switch through, and I get the feeling that if these 2 teammates get tripped over each other one more time, Bowkett is going to be on them like a rash.
No, exactly. They can't afford to make any mistakes. But I think just through pure pace at the moment, Bowkett is catching the 2 TX3 guys. Switching Tactical is very difficult. It's a very different mindset. Like I've said, transitioning from Forza Motorsport 7 to Forza Motorsport 6, you can take different lines. And if you're so used to taking those lines and you try and take them in this game, you just can't do it. You've got to really make a conscious effort to remind yourself that some of these curbs will kill you, will absolutely eat your car alive. Bowkett, though, on point, absolutely on point, not making a mistake. He did get bullied in the first section of this race. And Knee is going up the inside there. You can just see Knee's bonnet. I'm going to jump on with Knee there in 6th place. He's managed to reel in the Bowkett
around here. He's just listening into the commentary. He's like, you know what, I'm going to make these guys look like fools. I'm going to try and catch up here with Bowkett and throw one on him. You can never put Knee down, can you? You know, he's one of those drivers who's just always ready to find the opportunity in the position that he's in. And I think getting past Bowkett here, it might be a good shout. It's a super aggressive move. At the same time, if I was Knee, I'd be tempted to allow Bowkett to pull me up to the rear of the 2 TX3 drivers up ahead, because I think that the young Cornishman has the pace.
Oh, that's a tap there from Switch. Switch really on point there. Managed to catch his old teammate Adsas back up there in 2nd place. Now Tactical will be right on the bumper. Do they play the team orders and let Tactical through? Tactical, you know, is not known for his rear-wheel drive GT car racing, where Switch is. Is he just going to let off the gas and risk being caught by Bowkett, or is Switch going to let him through? It's all in their own hands here. It's what they've got to decide to do.
That's the 2nd lap in a row. Tactical's just been a half a meter wide there. And that right-hander, square right-hander, it pays to be using all the pavement you possibly can. You can get on the throttle just that little bit earlier. Switch, though, maybe getting it a little bit worse through there, because Tactical's now just 30 feet behind him. And keep in mind, that's the footage from his front to Switch's front. And there's even less between the 2 cars.
Yeah, so going into half the race to go, Rich leads the race, Adsad in 2nd, Switch 3rd, Tactical 4th, Bowkett in 5th, Knee in 6th. Sparky DS in 7th, 8 is Furore, Warwick 9th, and rounding out the top 10 will be Lothario. Lothario lost a few places there. He did great in qualification. He's down in 10th, Lamb Chop in 11th, Ashton Ash in 12th, Bobby 13th. And it looks like there's a massive battle going on there. I'm just going to go check the back.
I'm not moving. Yeah, Bowkett is on the hunt, Merch. Bowkett, he's making his move. You can see
Bowkett.
He's sniffing now all over Tactical, right on him. And you know that Bowkett has that one lap pace, that insane pace to get him onto pole position. He can pull out that lap at will. He can just reach into the bag, nip it out, and he'll be all over the rear of these guys. He just needs the air to do it. He needs to be able to offer himself the opportunity to get past them, because there's no point in closing up to the car in front in mid-corner. There's nowhere to take that speed. You just have to lift off or wait to get on the throttle. The best way to do it is to have a few car lengths like this, and then when Tactical makes a mistake, Bowkett can flow that speed through the corner, push it out of the corner, and carry that run onto a straight.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to say here, this is a perfect opportunity for Bowkett, because Tactical's braking is dictated as to when Switch brakes. When Switch brakes, Tactical brakes. And naturally, Tactical cannot brake in the same place. So he's going to be slower going into the corners. And this is what Bowkett's got to realise. Bowkett can take Tactical. He's got to look at when Switch is braking and make that dive bomb on Tactical. Tactical in response, though, has got to get that positioning, that track positioning. Go mid-track. Maybe it slows you down, but it covers all angles. It gets your arms up high and wide, stops those overtakes coming in, stops those dive bombs, and I think that's what really Tactical's got to do, unless Switch starts to pull the trigger and get going.
Look at that Tactical with a little bit of a lunge there on Switch, who's wide through the long right-hander. Can't trust these two teammates to get along with each other too much. You know, Tactical will be like, I'm not going to knock you off the track, I'm not going to get too aggressive. But if you give me an open door, I'm going to walk through it. That's just racing. That, though, has lost Tactical just a little bit of speed. And now as we head down towards sunset, for the 6th time already in this race, Tactical is absolutely losing ground to Bowkett.
Wow, Switch absolutely now. Look at the ground he made up on Tactical there. About 5-6 car lengths. He didn't even make it that perfect. That was brilliant from Switch. Ridge still out in front by a good 500 feet. He's safe at the moment with 3 laps to go. That is a tall order for Adzaz. Adzaz gets on the grass, gets loose, opens the door for Switch, closes it really quickly. This is not the place you want to start losing positions. You get swallowed by 1, you get swallowed by 2. Bowkett will teach you that. He got swallowed by 5.
He did. You know, I keep on thinking, Melish, that we ought to go up and give the boys some praise up in front. Ridge doing a great job up there. But I can't keep my eyes off of Bowkett this race. He looks poised to do something absolutely awesome as they close up towards the hairpin one more time. That battle up ahead is too close now. There's nowhere for Switch to go. There's nowhere for Tactical to go. A little mistake from Ads, and Bowkett has got the chance of the century.
Yeah, we talk about teams battling out. We just see Tactical and Switch. Just want to bring you an update from the back. We've got Lamb Chop, Lothario, and Furore battling out. Lothario and Furore side by side going through Fangio. And he's going for the undercut, Lothario. He's trying to make his way past his teammate Furore, but Furore is driving defensively. And this is a golden ticket for Lamb Chop and Sparky DS, who's just on the rear end of this little train here. And Furore is starting to build up the pack as well. This is where it all comes into play at these last couple of laps.
You're absolutely right. Now is the time to make that pass. Now is the time to get those few more points out of this race. This has been a long way for perfect for Bowkett, but he can make a good job out of it. We're going to come down the back straight here for the 7th time. Just 3 more circulations of Sebring remain in race number 1 of the day. Up ahead, Switch is looking all over the rear of Ads, who has to take a little bit of a defensive line there into sunset, and that's going to give Switch the run here, I think. Let's jump on board with Switch, because I think he's about to make this happen.
Here we go. You see, it's returning the compliment here from Switch. Adzaz got past him fairly easily. Now Switch wants to make that, return the compliment and get that 2nd place. He wants to get that good 1-2 on the podium. Can Adzaz spoil his day? It's a very tall order for Switch. He's closest at the moment. Tactical could seize the opportunity. So could Bowkett. And he's not too far apart either. It's really all up to Adzaz. If he can make this work, he's gone wide. Switch goes down the inside. He's going to try and make it double. Can't make the cutback. Trying to get that smooth exit. He just couldn't put the power down. Adzaz live fights for another day. It's so close.
He does, yeah. He's holding on by his fingernails. This whole pack are holding on by their fingernails. You know, in some ways, you imagine that Alie might be able to make this work. As Ad's just a car width wide there on the hairpin. There's nowhere to switch to roll that speed there. Nowhere for him to take it. Let's glance backwards one more time. And Tacq is now all over the rear of his teammate TX3 Switch. These two have done an absolutely brilliant job of clogging up the track in some ways so that Ridge can get away with this. You can't give him too much credit. FTR adds that, you know, hasn't had the pace to get back up with Ridge throughout this race.
Yeah, I have to say, and this is not biased, but great spatial awareness from Tacq. This is great. It's what makes a racer. You know, you can't hot lap, you can't take those normal racing lines. You have to brake when the guy in front brakes, and you have to adjust yourself accordingly. And he's done a great job to not collect himself and his teammate, because these guys have been doing so well. They've been able to keep Bowkett at bay. Is it enough to keep going? They've got 2 laps remaining, and Tacq's done a fantastic job. Look how close it is now. Switch going to get them.
Look how
he's going to slipstream.
2 cars going too wide down the back straight here and towards sunset. This is what we were kind of worried about at Sebring, because it's all going to get serious now as they throw it into the corner. Bowkett with a little tap there on Tacq, is going to go try it all the way around him. Switch is on the outside. Ad's going neck and neck down the main straight. Going to try and make this happen before we get into lap number 9.
How did he make that
Switch and
cutback?
Ad's still side by side.
Yeah, but Switch has got track position into turn 1. Ad's going to have to go a long way around. He's going to try and make the cutback. Switch brakes on the apex. And Tacq is going to get that pace all the way around the outside. Tries to outside Ad's out, but he's got track position into turn 2. I feel like this is a horse race. Bowkett is on the back. He's on the back of this, and Alie is now 20 feet behind Bowkett. It is a 5-way train. Ridge is forgotten. He's going to take victory in this race unless something disastrous happens. It's all about that podium finish now for Switch and Ad's. Tacq is splitting the pair of the TX3 boys, and they don't like that. They're going to reel him in, and so does Bowkett. Alie's going to be there as well. Look at that from
Alie
Bowkett.
sniffing around Bowkett. Bowkett, I couldn't work out if he was defensive or aggressive as they catch each other. Ad's and Tacq touching each other there on the hairpin, both off the track, and Bowkett's through. That's the double overtake for Bowkett. Alie made it through 1, and he's still threatening on Tacq.
Wow, Alie's trying to seize the opportunity on Tacq as well. Maybe Tacq feels a little bit disgruntled. No, that was fantastic around the outside there. He's going to hold 4th position momentarily, but this is where Bowkett's strong. Does Bowkett have enough to charge onto the back of Switch? Switch with an immaculate job to take his teammate Adz back into turn 1, and now Tacq is just going to hold up Alie there, 15 feet apart. Adz from 2nd to 6th. That is tremendous. Not for him, for everybody else. I feel absolutely gutted for the guy. Alie tries to go down the inside, no dive bomb opportunity there, and he's on the curb, and this is going to reel in Adz. Maybe a little bit too much there. How much can Adz get on the acceleration? No, he's still losing pace. Wow, that is unbelievable.
I tell you what, Alie gave a little bit of a tap there to Tacq midway through that 9th lap. A little bit of a nudge, so I'm happy to see he didn't make it into a move. This is absolutely electric there. This battle that's been brewing all race long, finally boiling over on lap 9 of 10, and the leading positions changing all around. 3rd place for Bowkett right now. It's a decent result for him after an absolutely appalling race start, one that he'll be very, very keen to forget indeed. TX3 Tacq back down to 4th with Alie behind him, but up in the lead of the race, and he has been there from the very beginning almost, is TX3 Ridge. Let's ride along with Ridge for a little bit, Melish.
Oh no!
Slightly diffused, and check him out. Oh, we can do something else. Shout it out.
Man, honestly, we've been at the top pack so much, we've missed all the action down the bottom. We've got Bobby trying to get up the inside of Aston Ash. We've got Furore battling with Lamb Chop. It is fantastic down the bottom here. It's like 2 big packs going at it, and nothing separates them. It's purely down to the fact that they've been racing and not outlapping that has separated the 2 packs here. They just had no chance for clean air. Look at Furore on the back of Lamb Chop.
Really crazy.
Oh,
these guys, they're still going for it. Furore's wide there, yeah, throwing it out the hairpin. So he's not going to make that stick. The 2 THR drivers, 10th and 11th of Aston Ash and Sparky DS. We'll be looking to hopefully get past Furore after that little bit of a run, but no joy for them as Warwick tries it around the outside of Bobby. I love that move. That's gutsy, and he's still got his nose in there. Just hold that car together, Warwick, and this position's yours.
This is fantastic. Look at this. It's just two trains going at it, and they are going at it hard. We've got the two THR teammates, Aston Ash and DS, T-Run together. They're not going to be happy with their finishing place because they were well up the pecking order in terms of qualification. Lamb Chop, though, putting out a fantastic performance. He's currently in 8th place here, holding off Furore as well. Ridge will take the checkered flag, I think. It's got to be sad.
I'm jumping up there now, but let's get on board with Ridge, because we've hardly seen him all race, and this guy's done an incredible job. Big drift from Ridge there through Sunset for the last time, and he's going to cross that line, taking victory at his first outing here at the ORL Z4 Cup. A fantastic result from him. TX3 switch will take second, so it's a TX3 1-2. The Bowkett is going to spoil that party for them, refusing tactical third position and stopping that podium from being entirely green.
Now, you're going to, what do you say, Alie? Do you think that Bowkett's met his match, maybe? He's got some competition now?
Oh,
come on,
I think Bowkett underestimated how aggressive that race was going to be. He is going to come out in race 2, and he is going to have, as you say, Mellish, as you like to say, he's going to have his elbows high and wide. He's going to come straight out in that race punching, and I think that's the right thing for him to do.
No, exactly. I mean, what a race that was there towards the end as well. They were 2 car wide. 2 rows of 2 car wide. It was great. It was like a square just moving round. And the way that, what amazed me the most is that Adzas already had it in his mind. And I felt that if I was in his place, I would have done the same thing. Maybe I don't know if I would have pulled it off or not. That's a different story altogether. But like the way that he, switches on the inside, Adzas ran the outside, he broke early, and he managed to just brush across the back of Switch and keep the inside line. Now, that was a great overtaking opportunity, but what he didn't do then was move back across and take that track position going into turn 1. Allowed Switch that room, Switch got back round and cleanly overtook, and, it was just such a it just felt choreographed, right? And there's nothing choreographed about racing, right? These guys are racing against each other, but they're keeping it clean and they're keeping it fast, and that was unbelievable. That was just tremendous skill, split-second decisions that worked out perfectly. Obviously Adzas finished in 6th. Well, that's a different story, but that small segment of that race was brilliant. Absolutely, all of it was brilliant, actually.
That race was so exciting that I almost completely forgot to hit the record highlight button very often. So not a lot of highlights from it, but at least I guess the music won't run out this time. I mean, what an incredible race. Bowkett bullied so badly at the start of it, just nudged off the road left and right, really forced out of that pole position, I think all the way back down to 7th at one point. And it was a fight clawing his way back through the field that made it absolutely compelling to watch as he sliced his way up the pack and eventually got to that podium position.
Yeah, that was a fantastic performance by everyone there. And I have to say, I mean, right, okay, so when you look at the map and you see 2 packs, you think, oh, 1 pack's fast, 1 pack's slower. I don't think that's the case at all. It really isn't the case. What happens is when you're racing, you're not able to put those lap times in, and you kind of get separated. It's very difficult to break that mold. Think of it as like that long distance bike race. You have like the main pack. Is it the Penta? Like you have that small pack that break away, and then you have like the main pack. It's kind of like that, and it's very difficult to break that mold from the main pack to get into the first pack. It's very, very difficult because you've always got someone there challenge you, making those dive bombs, making you race, making you sweat. So it's very difficult to put those times in to decrease that distance, essentially. So I don't think that was a reflection on anybody's pace. And I guarantee you, they would not have looked. The people in the bottom pack would not have looked to see where the first pack was. They would have been so engrossed and so paying attention and so focused, like tunnel vision, on what they were doing and what was ahead of them, that they wouldn't have had a clue. All they would have known is that it was the last lap. They wouldn't have known the distance between them and first. They wouldn't have even looked. Because it's not important. It's immaterial.
What a compelling race. I mean, Ridge as well. I mean, we hardly mentioned him, and it's because he got away. He ran and hid. But a fantastic performance from him. Super, just a concentrated race. You can see he must have run his own pace, must have been controlling that gap back to Ads, who was in 2nd for so long in that race, before pulling out a Bowkett position just before the end. So it was a great race there from Ridge. Definitely one that, I mean, in a lot of ways, I think we've been waiting for Ridge to run that race for quite a long time here in the Forza community. Everyone knows he's fast. Everyone knows he's able to put those times in on the leaderboards, and it's awesome to see him pulling it out now in race situations as well.
Yeah, exactly. He got that lucky break. Well, when I say lucky, he earned it. But the racing that was going on for second place really gave him that golden ticket to get away. He still had a lot of responsibility. He still had to utilize that time to put those lap times down and get away, and he did so. He got 600 feet, I think it was, towards the middle of the race there, and that was, the stress just comes off you just a little bit because you're allowed to make small mistakes. We saw him crossing the line there, jubilant, smashing the handbrake on. It was fantastic. If you're able to do that, that's fine. But what a race for second place. Like, it's just not over until it's over. Like, I don't know how many races we've done at Sebring, mate, but the last one I remember was the V8 Supercars, and I'm pretty sure, like, that's in our intro, and I'm pretty sure that was like 8,000ths of a second. Like, why does Sebring always bring the best racing, or one of the tracks that brings the best racing? I don't understand it. What is it? Is it the nature of the track?
I've got this theory, right? It's not anything to do with the track, like, in itself. I've got this theory that it's all about how much the drivers enjoy driving there. You can't go around Sebring without having a big smile on your face. It's so enjoyable to race here. It's like Road America as well. Just fantastic circuits. If I go around Sonoma, I've got a frown on my face almost permanently. I don't like Sonoma. I think it's like racing micro machines in a golf ball. I absolutely cannot abide it. Race around Sebring though, you just got this big grin, and you want the guy behind to throw a move on you. Great, bring it in. Let's do some close racing. Let's do that kind of little dance of attack and defense that you can do so well on just a beautifully made track with multiple lines in and multiple lines out of the corners.
Okay, I get that. I see where you're coming from with that. No, I agree. Except for the smiling part. I don't think any of those people from especially AdSense were smiling.
I don't think there was any smiling involved. He was smiling for a bit though at the beginning. Like, he got up to second. He was running that race pretty well. There's a lot of pressure there from your compatriots at TX3. That green flood just waiting to come past ads, and it did eventually break through in the form of Switch, and then later on in the form of Tactical.
No, exactly. And if you're not aware of who we are, if you're watching us on YouTube or you're new to us on Twitch, we are obviously, of course, YMTV Racing. You can follow us on Twitter for all our updates. We've got paint competitions going at the moment for the new BMW M6 that's come to Forza in the recent update. Obviously, the YMTV crew will be racing that at the D24 Daytona 24, brought to you by Tora. If you want to get involved in some league racing as well, and ORL just might be out of your time zone, then please go to ymtvnews.com and you can go to the esports page, and I think you can check out different leagues. You can click on them. If you're looking to join a team as well, if you're a free agent, Jacob Bowkett, you can go and apply yourself. I don't think you'll need to do that, Bowkett, but if it's there for anybody else, if you want to get faster, you want to have that camaraderie, tunes, paint jobs, the likewise, everything that comes in, all the trims that comes from a team, then you can sign yourself up as a free agent. But right now, we're going into race 2, which includes a reverse grid. Not a full reverse grid, I don't think it is. Is it a full reverse? Is it
I
top
believe
10 or
so.
full reverse?
I think it's a top... Ooh, I think it's a full reverse, honestly. It's a full reverse grid we're about to go into here.
So, this is it, guys. Race 2. This is the last race of the night. It will be finished after this race. But if it's anything like race 1, which I'm pretty sure it will be, it's going to be fantastic to watch.
Certainly will. It certainly will. I wonder if there'll be time just to very briefly look at the results of race 1 before we throw in there. I think they will, just for a second. You can see there the top results. Hopefully they've worked out this time. We're still working on this system before we hop on into the race itself. I mean, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be very, very close. We saw that overtaking is possible here, but we also know that it's all about not getting bullied, not getting yourself knocked off of line, because then everyone is going to come tumbling through. FTR Bobby on the front row of the grid, and GTR Warwick, he's looking for that clean air. Aston Ash, he can also see it. You can smell the fresh air at the front of the pack, and each one of these drivers is going to want to get themselves there and start getting that gap. LRT Lamb Chop starting in 7th position. He hasn't had any luck yet this season, but hopefully race 2 here at Sonoma will be his golden ticket to that podium.
Yeah, we've got running out the top 10. We have Knee 70 for the Team Highland Racing Team. 11th we'll see TX3 Tactical battling from the back alongside Bowkett, round 1 winner. TX3 Switch is in penultimate last place, and at the very back of the grid is race 1 winner TX3 Ridge.
Here we go then, race number 2, and the lights are going to be dropping any second now. We're going to go straight on board with Aston Ash, starting from 4th position. And just in front of him, Bobby and Pipes are going side by side into the first turn. It's Linus Stern between these guys. Let's glance backwards as the pack drifts through the first corner and threatens Aston Ash's poor Z4, which is starting to look like it might have to be the cork in a bottle here.
Big crash here. Adzas just smashing through the pack there. I think there's a bit of desyncing going on, because he absolutely piled through Lamb Chop and just carried on driving like there was nothing there. So Lothario in 7th place, Lamb Chop in 8th, Tactical in 9th, but Adzas just absolutely just sailing through the pack here like there was no one there.
We're on board with Ridge, with Switch up the inside of him. The race 1 winner here, having to fight this time. He's not going to get it easy, as up ahead, Tactical and Bowkett, they're seeing quite enough of each other for one day, but they're going to see a little bit more as they go toe-to-toe towards the mid-sector of the track.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a look at Furore a minute. I just want to check he's not got damage. Hold on.
That's all right. I'm going to stick here with this battle because it's absolutely off the hook. We've got Ridge, Switch, and Tactical. Those 3 green machines trying to find their way through as Tactical gets a little bit of a bump there, turns in on Bowkett, loses rear grip on his Z4, and tumbles to the back of the TX3 train. He's going to manage to slot himself back in online in 12th position. These 4, the race winners, you usually expect to see them way up there, maybe 4th position by the end of lap 1. They're back here in 9th. And a lot of work to do as this race continues.
Yeah, so just from the front here, going into lap 2, Eric Pipes leads the way, FTR Bobby in 2nd. Really good chance to get another podium here. He did that in race 2 in Nürburgring. He's got a fantastic opportunity to do that here as well. Warwick 3rd, Aston Ash 4th, Sparky DS in 5th, Adzas in 6th, Lothario 7th, and that's a big dive bomb from Ridge on his teammate Switch. He's going to make it happen as well. Switch is going to let off. That was a fantastic, really good pinpoint up the inside, round Sunset Corner. It didn't phase him. He made it work. Switch is going to return the compliment though. He's going to hold it down the inside again like he did to Adzas. Bowkett goes wide. Ridge tries to make the undercut. Doesn't work out. And he'll have to do that all over again.
Knee here. We're on board with him, sniffing at the rear of that TX3 train. That's what he's been doing all week, but it's that almost that underdog story every single time with Knee, now with the THR team, and he's just looking forward as they go through Big Ben, trying to find just that little bit of a gap, that clearing in the sea ahead of him. They'll let him just throw on the brakes and get through as Tactical bullies Ridge wide, throws it up the inside of the hairpin. Those TX3 guys going at it like they're not teammates. And I tell you what, that is allowing Bowkett to get away, because now he's got Lamb Chop between him and the 3 TX3 cars.
Yeah, Switch trying to look up the inside there. Lamb Chop giving him no route. Perfect defensive line mid-track. And that is, like you say, it's going to allow Bowkett to really press on through the pack here. THRE trying to squeeze his way past Ridge as well. Ridge is not having any of that. He's going to take the racing line. And he gets a run on Tactical. You can see the feet there going down very, very gradually. What happened there?
Knee just knocking himself wide onto the grass on the way out. He's sunk back 1 position there. And now he's behind Furore, who had that massive shunt at the beginning of the race. So Furore doing a brilliant job there to get himself back up into 13th position. I thought he was gone, dropped from the race forever, but he's still here, and that's down mostly. The absolutely brutal battle that the TX3 drivers are having with each other here. No holds barred, and that's how Bowkett's getting away. Bowkett now up in 8th position, and a good 200 feet ahead of the lead TX3 runner.
Yeah, and he gets an absolutely blinding run out the last corner here, right on the back bumper of Adzas. Adzas going to go defensive here. Bowkett again going on the racing line. That's not where you want to be. Trying to get in front there, trying to get the track position, tries to make the cut back, not going to work. and it's very difficult to do the same into turn 2.
There's a tiny run there, and Bowkett's making it work. A dive bomb onto Ads. Oh! Runs that car just perfectly judged. I love that defense from Ads. It was just a little bit of a grating of metal. You could see a few sparks shining there between the two cars, but nothing that you have to write home about, nothing the marshals would raise an eyebrow at. And Bowkett having to stay back there in 8th position, so firm, absolutely assertive defense there from Ads, who's got it wrong at the hairpin.
Oh, look at that run from Bowkett. Adzas tries to take the inside line. I have to say, Bowkett making a double apex of the hairpin, gives him the straight line run through Fangio, and he's going to take this corner here. Is Adzas going to try and maintain the inside? He will, but Bowkett's going to have to run right round the outside. He can maintain here. He's just going to let off the gas here, and Adzas will have to filter back through behind Bowkett. He's now in 8th place, and now Lothario is the next target.
I tell you what, looking back there at Lamb Chop and the TX3 drivers, you know what I think of? I think of a bottle of Fizzy Pop. You know, the more you shake it, the more you shake up those TX3 drivers behind there, the more aggressive they get, the more bubbly they're going to get. And when they get past...
You mean like...
I mean, I just think, you know, I think that the less chance they have of running a restrained, mature race. You know, now that you saw Lamb Chop just taking a little bit of a dive there off the track, and all 3 of them have spilled through, I think there's an awful lot of aggression back there in that TX3 threesome. TX threesome. I should have gone there. I should have gone there. I missed my chance. Ah, that was good.
You missed it, mate. You missed it.
Oh.
It's like dropping Mentos into a bottle of Coca-Cola, you mean?
I'll have myself for that one later. Yeah, must try harder. Must try harder. D.
Lothario's DNF there. I was on board with Lothario. He must have got disconnected. That's an absolute shame because he was up the inside of Astanash, and now he will get no points for finishing last. That is not in his fault at all. It's just the way that it's the way that it pans out sometimes. Some people have the luck of the draw, some people don't. Lamb Chop all over the place. All three TX3 drivers have now got past Lamb Chop, and Lamb Chop is the next target for Knee, who you said earlier on was making mistakes towards the middle section of this track. He's now looking strong, still in 12th, but a lot of places to make up.
Up at the head of the pack, it's GTR Eric Pipes leading the way, the young American, relatively new still to the GTR racing team. Behind him, FTR Bobby, that incredible punchy racer we saw out at Nürburgring a week ago. Warwick in 3rd, so GTR, two of their drivers on the podium right now. That's good to see. It's been a while since we've seen GTR up and being that competitive. CHR Astanash in 4th with Sparky DS in 5th place. Bowkett already up to 6th, so he's looking predatorial, while Ridge Ailes in 8th position.
Yeah, Ridge trying to catch up that desperately to the back of that pack there. You can see Adzas and Bowkett within reach. They're not in the sunset yet. And he can really make this work for him because he can just see Adzas and Bowkett going at it. Bowkett's having to drive defensive. That's slowing down. That gives Astanash that little bit of extra breather. And it looks like Adzas is charging on Bowkett. I'm going to have to go on board with that. I have to go on board with that. I have to see what pans out here.
Let's get back there on board with Bowkett. Ads behind him. Sparky DS up ahead. Let's check the gaps there. THR still representing in 5th position. You can see his teammate up there in 4th as well. The shadow of Ads there looming on the way into sunset. No physical car appears, and Bowkett lives to fight another day. Lap 5 of 10.
Bowkett's got to be careful. You know, it's a great way to just, you know, double apex the last corner, but it's not really necessary, and it's not appropriate for the kind of racing that you're in. It kind of works on the way out. You get all that straight line speed, but you're leaving the door wide open. Double doors, in fact. And that's the problem. He is on the back of Sparky DS, who's just let, you know, all that time that Bowkett just gained on Adzas. He just reeled him back in there. Absolutely reeled him back in. Absolutely. What can Sparky DS do, though? It's too wide into the hairpin. Sparky's going to take the inside. Is Bowkett going to double apex it, try and make the cutback? He is. He did exactly the same on Adzas. Sparky, though. Oh, Sparky clips the curb. The curb of death has got him. And he reels down the pack to 7th. Adzas takes that place. And that is another down the pecking order. The curb kills another. Who is next?
So Ridge trying to make the most of that as well, going round the outside of Sparky there, being a little bit shoved by Switch as he goes around. So Ridge is going to make that happen. Switch 2 now. Sparky just tumbling down the order. He needs to get back on the racing line, back into that main thoroughfare, because he will continue to get bullied. If not, where are we at, Miss? Where should I go?
Adzas, man, Adzas. Warwick just made an absolute hash of the corner, and Adzas and Bowkett just went round the outside like it was nothing. It's like a hot knife through butter for both of them. They're just following each other, complementing each other. It's absolute liquid racing from Bowkett and Adzas. They can sense a real podium here, and it's not too far away. I think that's Aston Ash in 3rd place there. Tacq and Arie Pipes in 1st. They're a long way away, but there's half a race to go. And this is now the time. This is the opportunity for Bowkett and Adzas. And there again, Bowkett wide on the entrance. He's going to have the straight line speed. Adzas is going to keep it close to the inside. Squeeze into that tire wall. Squeeze him. Can't quite do it. Bowkett will get the run again. He's got to squeeze him.
Through this lap. You've got to, you know, Ads here is almost trying to make the move too beautiful. He's trying to get that absolutely perfect pass on Bowkett. He wants it to be clean, swift, everything. But Bowkett will fight, you know, if you don't squeeze him into the tyre wall, if you don't limit his line, if you don't slow him down in every single way you can, if you don't race dirty, then Bowkett won't let you past. That's what Ads is currently learning. Let's hop on board with Bowkett. He's looking up the road still to Aston Ash in 3rd position. These two are bound to be close to each other very, very soon indeed.
Yeah, Ridge looking on for Warwick. Warwick is starting to get swallowed here, running that beautiful Rockstar paint livery. That was fantastic paint, but he's getting swallowed. It's not helping him here. It's not giving that extra 10 brake horsepower, and Ridge is looking hungry here. He wants to make quick work of Warwick because he knows he needs to get on that back of that pack. Time is running out. 4.5 laps to go, and Ridge really needs to make it pack. Warwick's not making it easy though.
The squeeze Ridge put on Warwick on that apex. Absolutely brutal. You see him turning across his nose as he came into the corner. Clean racing, of course. So high pressure, so high risk. A little bit of a mistake there from Warwick would see them both off in the ditch. But you know, that's how Ridge likes it. He'll race till the end, and he'll race at 100%.
Yeah, exactly. There's no switch off button for these drivers. It's all or nothing, and if all means that they screw up their speed and they die horrendously, they know they've done their best. They've given it 100%. Look at that run that Switch has on Warwick. Warwick makes a hash onto Le Mans straight. Switch is going to get that pace, and I think he's going to move straight in front. Once that distance opened up, I think he's going to move back on the racing line there. Is he going to move on the racing line? Is he going to keep it in the mid-pack? He's going to keep it mid. He's going to keep it mid. I think he's trying to hold off Warwick. Beautiful job to hold off Warwick there. Where's Tactical? Tactical's just behind Warwick. Oh, he's through on Warwick. Too late.
Tactical as well. He is straight through there, straight through. A little bit of butt wrench there for Switch. Got super close to the tyres on the outside of Sunset. Let's get back on board with Bowkett though and measure that gap up ahead to Aston Ash. These two now looking very close to each other indeed. Bowkett, 2nd place runner in the championship, working his way round the outside of Ash and fighting like crazy for that 3rd position. Behind them both, there'll be a hungry Ads trying to find his way through, but no joy just yet. And Bowkett up to the podium already.
Yeah, exactly. Adzas trying to follow him through there. Aston Ash giving way too much space. Lost a lot of pace trying to defend off Bowkett, going side by side. Oh, when he gives Adzas a little bump there. I think that's actually worked out to Aston's favour. No, he has to let off the gas there, go the wide round, the longest way round. That's not going to help him any favours. And where is Ridge? Come on, Ridge. Bring it to that pack. He's there. He's there. He's knocking on doors, my friend. This is time. Arie Pipes, meanwhile, out in front. And I think that's Bobby again in 2nd place. He's doing a great job. Both doing a great job.
They are, and it's lap 7 of 10. This race will run out. There won't be enough laps for Bowkett, who looks like he has more pace, granted, than Arie Pipes. Looks like he can put in a faster lap time. But does he have enough race distance left to catch up and overtake the young GTR driver from the US?
Fantastic. Adzas just clipping the curb there, both curbs. That's not going to help him any. And that's where Bowkett has really excelled. His smoothness. He knows the curbs are killing him, so he won't run over them. He does his best not to. Sometimes it's inevitable, and sometimes he will, but not through any choice of his own. It's pure aggression. Look at there again, super wide. Ashton Ash as well, keeping it tight, follows Adzaz's line. That's the line I'd take, but Bowkett really putting the pace down here.
Ridge is the guy right now. He's sniffing on Ashton Ash. He wants to find a way through. And he knows as well that Bowkett's just up there. You know, the rival here on this round, this second round of the Online Racing League Z4 Cup.
Ashton goes defensive.
Ashton Ash gets defensive. That's tight stuff and great driving from Ashton Ash there. He knows there's only 3 circulations left, 2 and a bit if you count the beginning of this lap. Hardly anything. He can fight like crazy. Just go mad and hold that guy behind you. You know, he can't run you off the road, or at least the marshals will get him after the race if he does.
I hope you've remembered to click in the highlight button, because I want highlights of this. I do. Now they're getting impatient.
You know, I'm forgetting. I know I've been forgetting. We will have some highlights. We'll have some highlights. Here we go. Ridge staring at the back of Ashton Ash, and up ahead, that's Ads now sniffing pretty heavily on a Jacob Bowkett, who's looking like he got a little bit too comfortable after getting to a podium position. You know, I expected Bowkett to be all over second position, FTR Bobby, who's just at the edge of the frame there, just really in the distance from this shot. But Ridge hasn't been closing that gap up easily and hasn't been making it, as Ridge finally has a go at Ashton Ash.
Yeah, Bowkett making an absolute blunder of a mistake there, hits the curb, kills him.
That's a massive crash for Ridge, absolutely shipping Ashton Ash on the way into the fast left-hander, under-rotated his car, threw it into the dirt, and that's taken Tactical out with him. So disaster here at the end of the race for TX3, 2 of their drivers out in the wall, and there's no way back from here. We are way too far down through this pack.
Yeah, that just, you know, it makes or breaks. The pressure was really getting to these guys. Got to go back on board though, you know. Time waits for no man. Go on board with Adzaz, because he's making that inside line work now. This is going to work. He's trying to screw up the speed of Bowkett on the outside. Can't quite do it. And Bowkett again gets through on the outside. He has got to squeeze him out. He has got to make him press, just let off that trigger, make him squeeze that trigger. And meanwhile, this is giving Eric Pipes that golden opportunity to make his first race win of the ORL BMW Z4s. Bobby, though, looking for his second podium, and that is looking promising, but he gets a slide in the grass.
Bobby! No, don't do it, Bobby! Back on the track, and that's a knock
Bobby
against Ads. Those two coming together. Bobby, his race unraveling here at the beginning of the 9th lap. Massive, massive error.
Massive mistake there from Bobby. As I said it, you could just see the car sliding. He tried to emerge on the track mid-apex. Big mistake. Collects Adzaz. Adzaz has now got a huge distance between him and Bowkett. Bowkett moves up to second. Adzaz now in third. Now Bowkett can really hammer down. He's got a lap and a half to challenge Eric Pipes. Can Eric Pipes hold on? Meanwhile, Switch makes it up to fourth. Ashton Ash now goes up to fifth. Everyone bumps up the pecking order, and Bobby back down to 10th. Unbelievable. As I said it couldn't have got any worse.
What has happened, Mellish? You know, we hit lap 8 of this race, and someone flipped the switch, which is like the wheels fall off and everyone crashes. Everyone's throwing it into the wall here at Sebring at the end of the race. Eric Pipes is holding on. Let's measure that gap. Bowkett looking forward up the road to him. He's got 1 lap to close up that gap and make that overtake, and that is going to be the charge of the century if he manages it. Those 7 car lengths that he's looking at are just too much, I think, for 1 lap alone.
Yeah, Adzaz making a few mistakes now. Switch 100 feet apart. Bowkett, though, is now charging really hard. In that last lap, he has created such a huge distance. I think it was 250 feet separate those guys. Now it's a whole 500. He's able to make that double apex into Sunset Bend now, and he's going to reel in Pipes. Pipes is going to have to go defensive for not the first time this race, but when it matters, when it counts. The last lap, lap 10 of 10. Here we go. Can Eric Pipes get his first race win? It'd be a great job, a great, great triumph for the GTR team. They've worked very hard for it. Or is Bowkett going to try and seize and extend his lead here with 2 race wins and 2 podiums? It's going to be 2 race wins and 2 podiums regardless, I think.
I tell you what, Madge, the last time I was this excited to see a final lap at Sebring as Bowkett rags that car out of the first sector. The last time I was this excited to see a final lap around Sebring was when Racers and Roadrunner was throwing it out here in the V8 supercars. Those two super close to each other, closing up. And I think Bowkett, I mean, I was calling it that he won't have a chance here, but if you look at that gap, he's just perfect. If he squeezes every chance he's got, then maybe he'll have one run at sunset.
Yeah, sad news for Tacq. 11th place, Ridge 13th. It was make or break, and it definitely broke both of them. Bobby as well, another sad story. What a race review this is going to be. Remember to watch the race highlights when we put them on YouTube tomorrow, because it's going to bring tears to your eyes, guys. It's racing poetry. Death in racing is what we're going to call it.
This is absolutely crazy. So Bowkett here still hunting. I tell you, Pipes will deserve this victory if he can manage it. Just one corner remains, and I think Bowkett's now looking towards the sky as well as looking towards Eric Pipes, because he's going to need the hands of fate here to reach down and just tap a little finger on the rear quarter panel there of Eric Pipes up ahead. Just get that rear moving. Bowkett is not going to have the run here as Eric Pipes heads down towards the start-finish line to take his first victory here in the online racing league Z4 Cup. Brilliant race, well controlled from GTR's youngest American. Behind him, Bowkett takes second with Ads in third. A tough race for TX3, and Switch is the only reconciliation for that in fourth position at the end of the race.
Exactly, and remember guys, those guys from TX3 did not compete in the first race. They have no drop round leeway, so they really have to make every point count from now to the end of the championship, and that was a huge blow to their championship contentions. But you know, it's too early to say. Anything can happen. We've got Ashton Ashley in 5th, Warwick in 6th. After battling there mid-pack, he's got swallowed up hard. Sparky DS in 7th. And it was just fantastic to watch everybody just go at each other so badly. That's what the full reverse grid brings to this race. It brings an ingredient. It brings a mixture. It's like a simmering pot. A simmering pot of pasta, you know, when you don't take the lid off it and it just bubbles everywhere and it starts to spit flames. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, that was, for me, that wasn't so much a simmering pot of pasta as it was a simmering pot of dynamite at any moment waiting to explode. That was an absolutely crazy race, and it deserves that moniker. Here we are. Let's throw some highlights in your faces, and we can relive a few of the moments where I remember to click the button and record them. You know, I don't understand what happened there, Mellish, toward the end of the race. I think maybe everyone was just pushing too hard, just trying that little bit too hard, and find themselves coming a cropper. First of all, you know, Ridge, with that tap on the rear quarter panel of Aston Ash, throwing himself into the wall at one of the most high-speed places on the track.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they've got the driver ability, the driver skill, but when it comes down to it, it's the mentality, the psychological warfare that these players, these drivers take on each other, have on each other, the effect that they have, and you know, it's desperation kicks in. You think of it, you know, think of these drivers look at the lap counter as like a ticking time bomb that's very, very slow. It's a very slow 10-second ticking time bomb, and it was getting to 6 or 7, and you know, the time's running out. Time's running out. You know, they're forming a monobrow, the amount of forehead sweat that they have, and you just want to make it work. You want to make it work, and if you don't, desperation kicks in. It's a do or die moment, and if it works for you, like we said before, great guns. If it doesn't, you're going to get punished. You're going to get punished hard, and they did. Tactical got collected, I think, but Ridge was the main culprit in that. He got swallowed up. Bobby as well made a massive mistake by himself. He could feel the pressure because he was getting closed in from Adzaz and Bowkett as well. And that's what pressure does to you. You either crumble or you thrive under it. And he definitely crumbled right there. But that's not the end of his. That is not the end of his championship contentions. I definitely think he's got more podiums in him. We've got Road America next Thursday, and that is going to be another it's going to be a similar taste of what we've had today. Very much speed orientated. A lot of sweeping bends, and very few overtaking possibilities. So we're going to see what happens there as well.
I'm looking forward so much to Road America next time out. It's going to be another track, very, very similar in the respect that it's a a speed track that we're essentially taking a grip car to, and that just leads to these kind of crazy overtakes that you don't usually see. These, you know, these odd moves and odd mistakes. Here we are actually just right now re-watching that moment when Ridge threw the race away, just turning in a little bit early onto Aston Ash, clips that rear quarter panel, massive impact, and catches Tactical for good measure. So those two TX3 drivers way out of the running there. I mean, speaking, you know, as TX3 partly Mellish, but also, you know, as somebody who's part of a racing team, you know, it's heartbreaking, right, to end someone who's on your team's race.
Not really. For me, I don't know. Yeah, I guess, but you know, Ridge will get over it. I mean, it is disappointing. No, it is disappointing. You know, when we're racing.
Let me stir, Mellish.
I know what you're trying to do, and I will not let you do it. You know better than that. Don't do it. Yeah, he tried to get up the inside, like the outside, sorry, of a really high-paced part of the track. You know, where there's a lot of high speed. And it's probably one of the most difficult places to overtake. I really haven't seen an overtake like that happen or occur in that part of the track. And it's very dangerous, you know. When you're running that much speed, you've got to expect Aston Ash to go out wide. He's not going to hold the inside. He's going to use all the track to get as much speed as he can. Really smooth. And it was so unlucky, you know. He just literally caught like maybe the front splitter of Ridge. And Ridge just had it. But Ridge should have known that was going to happen. He should have just let off the gas a little bit. But in that moment, you know, it's just, like I said, desperation kicks in. You know, you want it, so you will have it. Either you will or you won't. But if you don't get it, you get hammered really badly. And like you said, he just got absolutely obliterated by the tyre wall. Tactical got collected. I don't think he was part of that accident. And Bobby made his own mistake. But that was a really ferocious race. It just never ceases to amaze. It never ceases to amaze. The performance and the competition of the drivers, no matter what kind of Forza platform it is always good. Especially like ORL, just never cease to amaze. They just don't.
Agreed. And on that, on that note, if you guys want to get involved with this racing, you can get over to onlineracingleague.proboards.com. That's the league organizer whose races we're broadcasting tonight, and you can get involved with the stuff that they've got going on. There's a McGann Cup certainly starting very soon over on Forza Motorsport 7, and that'll definitely be one to watch. I think there's some very, very competitive people indeed taking part in that. Alongside that, if you want to get in touch with YMTV, keep up with the goings-on of everything that we do, that's all to do with esports racing here on the Forza Motorsport franchise. Then you can hop on over to Twitter or the ymtvnews.com and all the various places where we do our yammering between our broadcasts.
No, exactly. But right up next time we're going to be streaming will be for the Tourer D24. That is the Daytona 24, and we're going to be competing. Well, it's going to be a mixture. It's going to be different teams, different stints. We're going to try and bring you a full, complete 24-hour broadcast from different people all around the world, competing. That is, and most of it, I think, all of it is going to be GT. So obviously it's going to be multi-class, but it'll be GT orientated, and you're going to see the YMTV guys take around the all-new BMW M6 GT car. Can't wait for you guys to see that. It's an absolute monster. It looks like a monster anyway. If you're not aware, there's been a paint competition going on. I can't wait to see which one gets selected to run. Alie is going to be part of that team that chooses that. But there's been some. You get a vote as well. You get a vote as well. Well, I'm just looking at them. I'm just amazed. Like, I like the quirky ones, man. I absolutely love them. The amount of effort that goes into it in such a small amount of time. Yeah, man.
It's been incredible, amazing thing. We want to give people more time to make the paints. We'll do that next time, I'm sure. This time there just wasn't enough of those hours in the day. For now, I think we're going to sign off. Just before I do that, I want to say a massive thank you to the whole YMTV team. This has really been a collaborative effort this week's show. And, a big thank you for Merganator for the recap, Ted for looking at THR, Quattro, and Jacob Bowkett for working together to make that hot lap video, and as well as that flip mode for his beautiful spoken piece to get us in the mood for a bit of racing at Sebring, and it has not disappointed. We've said it before, I'll say it again next time out. This time next week we'll be at Road America with the Z4s. Do join us then. In the meantime, like, follow, subscribe, all those fun things, and you can be in touch with us before we get the next show going. But I think for now we're going to wish you a very good night, and we'll catch you in just a few days.
Sebring is in the middle of nowhere. Years ago, on my first road trip to the track, I was driving through an orange tree plantation. Miles and miles of oranges. And all of a sudden, a Miami blue Porsche 911 passes me on my left. And a minute later, an R8 roars by me. I thought to myself, where am I? I'm still an hour from the track. There isn't a soul in sight. It's just me, the oranges, and a pair of dream cars. It was as if there was some sort of force drawing us closer and closer. Now the track is morphed from an old airfield. 17-turn road course consists of long straights, high-speed corners, and a few hand-over-hand hairpins. No camber, and flatter than a bad joke at a funeral. The surface is a curious collection of asphalt and concrete. Yes, the same concrete that World War II planes landed on. The transitions are rough and demanding on a car's suspension. There's a saying at Sebring, respect the bumps. A rusty chain link fence wrap around the track, and the walkovers are made with questionable wood and rickety 2x4s. Sebring is like the old family dog. Yeah, he doesn't play fetch. He sleeps a lot, and his tricks are long forgotten. But to you, there isn't another dog in this whole wide world you would rather have.